What's up, everybody? I am Alvin Basilis Como, your buddy for today. And today, we will be talking about the multiliteracies in the educational reform. But before that, I just want to remind you to subscribe and click the notification button. Good day once again. So as I've said earlier, we will be talking about the multiliteracies in the educational reform. But before that, let us first unlock what is literacy. So here is the definition. Literacy has traditionally meant the ability to read and write, a synthesis of language, context, and thinking that shapes meaning. This is according to Winch, Ross, Johnston, Marsh, Jungdahl, and Holiday in the year 2011. So, the literacy means the ability of a person to read, write, and understand something. And I forgot to count the numbers. So that is the basic literacy that have been taught to us when we were at our elementary years. And now, let us know the definition of multiliteracy. So, as you see, multiliteracy, or the term multiliteracies, was first used by the New London in the year 1996 rather, to encapsulate a wider view of literacy. A wider view meaning wide variety view of literacy, taking into account the impact of the increase in communication channels and the prominence of cultural and linguistic diversity in the world. That's according to the New London Group in the year 1996. As you can observe, there's a highlighted word here, a wider view of literacy. So from that, we can conclude that multiliteracy is such a wide word and has a wide variety of knowledge, wide variety of information from different literacy. So meaning with word multi, it means marami, or there's so much still, or marami pa mga, there's so much literacies that have been put together to form, and that is called multiliteracy. In order to fully appreciate the impact of these changes, an understanding of the term literacy is needed. So we really have to delve deeper to widen our perspectives towards multiliteracy and to embrace the changes in our curriculum, or in this 21st century, most especially since advancements of technologies does exist already. So we really have to broaden our minds, our perspectives, to fully comprehend and understand what really multiliteracy. So here is the example of multiliteracy. So as you can observe in the picture, there's the news and the social media platforms, the sites. There's a computer in this picture. There's a mouse, or in a short, there are technologies present. Okay, in the next slide here we can see the multiliteracy's pedagogy. So we have already know the word multiliteracy, and now to know what is pedagogy. So pedagogy is defined as, or the profession, or the education. So in here we can already see how multiliteracy have been applied to education. So in contrast, the term multiliteracy takes into account how literacy has been influenced by social, cultural, and technological change. That is according to Anstey and Bull in the year 2006. As a consequence, a pedagogy of multiliteracies encompasses a broader representations and multimodal communication, that is according to Cope and Calantis in the year 2000 and Walsh 2010. A multiliteracy's pedagogical approach means text is often non-linear. What is non-linear? Non-linear means we are now focusing on the different perspectives, the different fields of literacy, such as or embracing the digital literacies, being flexible of the changes in our education. A multiliteracy's pedagogical approach means text is often nonlinear, as linear text is often integrated with multimodal text, including audio, images, sound, graphics, and film through technology. That's according to Cope and Calantis 2000 and Walsh 2010. This approach enables teachers to be creative in the literacy classroom by integrating movies, the internet, music, art, photos, and a range of other digital resources are being utilized. So multiliteracies, we can say that the teachers are now utilizing the technologies they have been using, or we have seen here a broader representation and multimodal communication. This means multimodal, meaning the students can now choose what they want, whether what they prefer, the preferred way of teaching by their teachers, whether it is visual, or through the use of the internet. As you can see here, teachers are now integrating the movies, the internet, music, arts, photos, and a range of other digital resources. It means that the teachers are now using the digital literacy, the technologies, to utilize the knowledge and to give the information to their children, with the use of technology. That's what multiliteracy is. It's somehow we are now on the 21st century, and we are now embracing the advancement of technologies, and we are now using the technologies in the education, and that what is multiliteracy's pedagogy. So, at this moment, we will be observing this illustration about multiliteracy. So, as you can observe, there are 6 lines connecting the word multiliteracies, and these are use technology. So, multiliteracy is the use of technology, write for an audience, synthesize information, global perspective, critical skills, and the use of multimodal skills. So in the multimodal text, so you can see, as you can observe, multi means many. So in here, it is also being, there are words associated with this multimodal text. These are read, understand, analyze, research, and communicate. These are effective for both teachers and for the students. While in the use of technology, there you can observe there are also the use of software. Of course, when using technology, you are using software, and in using software, in here you will be publishing. You will publish, retrieve, store, and create. That for multiliteracies, which is very effective for the students and the teachers. So to end this topic, multiliteracy, another illustration, multiliteracies requires learners to use semiotic knowledge and skills to create meaning, which leads to the literacy development of the students. And lastly, Multi Multiliteracy provide new ways of motivation and engaging learners in the literacy classroom. Hi guys, at this moment we will be tackling another topic, and that is still, but it is still part of the multiliteracies, and that is the assessment of multiliteracies. Alright, in this, designing multimodal assessment. Let us read. The move from assessment as currently practiced in schools to a multiliteracies assessment is not simply a matter of identifying a set of discrete skills, nor is it a matter of creating rubrics. Yes, that's assessment. A pedagogy of multiliteracies is philosophically different from the cognitive approach that dominates assessment and requires a different way of thinking about text and assessment. And that's according to Kalantzis et al. The year 2003, called this the new basics. According to Cope and Kalantzis in the year 2006, the new basics are about a kind of learning with which facilitates an active engagement with new and unfamiliar kinds of texts without arousing a sense of alienation and exclusion. Thus, assessment techniques need to be altered in many cases quite radically to promote new learning and to measure more accurately skills required for success in the 21st century. So it is stated that assessment should be altered, and because assessment would help the students become efficient, more especially in the using of technologies. Okay, next slide. So Kalantzis et al. In the year 2003 identified 10 key skills needed for a person to be successful within an information-based society. So these 10 skills could be applied to the teachers and to the students. So number 1 is autonomy and self-direction. Autonomy and self-direction means you have the freedom, you have self-governing in your own, meaning you have the power to do what you want. The next or number 2 is flexibility. As a student and as teachers, we must be flexible to the changes that happens in our technology, most especially in the advancement of technology. We have to be flexible and must know how to utilize the equipments or this technology. Number 3 is the problem solving skills. Of course, that's easy to understand. Number 4 is multiple strategies for tackling a task. This can be for teachers. They must know how to or apply strategies in tackling a task. Next one is a flexible solutions orientation to knowledge. Teachers must be flexible and must derive a better solution for a certain situation. Next is the collaborative and communicative, meaning you are one, you have unity, and you have good communication towards one another, towards the people in a group. Number 7 is the able to work productively with linguistics and cultural diversity. We all know students have different characteristics, diverse, meaning have uniqueness. Their characteristics are different from each other. So we must be, or the teachers must be flexible, as what stated in number 5, must be flexible. And number 8 is intelligent in multiple ways. So that's multiple literacy, intelligent in multiple ways, meaning you have the knowledge in the multiple literacies. Yeah, that's it. Number 9, broadly knowledge. You have to broaden your knowledge, your perspective towards a certain situation or a certain, you have to broaden your knowledge, and You have to apply the skills you've learned, maybe in a seminar, orientation, workshop. You have to apply that skills. Number 10 is able to engage with different interpretative frameworks and contexts of specific information. Let us proceed. So, implementing multiliteracy assessments. Scholars have suggested several approaches for multiliteracy assessments. That's according to Callow 2008 and Calancis et al. 2003 argued for a performative approach to assessments. Callow's Show Me approach to assessment includes project assessments of in-depth learning tasks. Now, letter B, performance assessments of how students complete tasks. Quantification of collaborative skills. Ongoing documentation through portfolios. Another, Callow in the year 2008 suggested that multiliteracy assessment also should include focused and purposeful student talk in assessment. Effective engagement with images. Inclusion of students in the creation or manipulation of visual text. And explicit compositional concepts and development of meta-language. Similarly, Calancis argued for letter A, project assessment. Letter B, performance assessments to measure the creative process. Letter C, group assessments to measure collaborative skills. Letter D, portfolio assessments to document the student's body of work. So that's how assessments done to the students using the multiliteracies or the multiliteracy. So in conclusion, the prospect of adding assessments of multiliteracies to an educational system crowded with assessments may be daunting or seem undesirable. However, just as multiliteracies require a rethinking of what constitutes literacy and the role of literacy in everyday life, so too does implementing an assessment of multiliteracies. The approach suggested by Cope, Calancis, and others are not about creating rubrics for a curriculum. He suggests that the core of multiliteracy assessment is the core of any meaningful assessment. It is about watching and noticing what the students are doing and then using the information to guide the students towards new skills and knowledge. Good teachers do this already. However, multiliteracy assessment asks for a different set of questions. Once a teacher is routinely asking questions that build on a pedagogy of multiliteracies, then a new way of envisioning assessment will emerge. So in this assessment, it is stated that assessments are done to notice the skills of the children or the students for them to acquire new knowledge and skills, most especially in handling or utilizing that technology. So here are the examples of, or here are the pictures that shows the assessment of multiliteracies. So as you can see, there are students who are using technologies, the teachers lecturing with the use of technologies. They're assessing, and as you can see, they're assessing the knowledge or the skills of the students towards or in utilizing that technology. At this moment, guys, we will now proceed to our next topic, preparing teachers for multiple literacies. Teachers must provide opportunities for students to develop multiple literacies in the classroom. Students should learn to locate, evaluate, and process information as well as to communicate what they have learned to others. Try these steps, or here are the steps for integrating multiple literacies in the classroom. Number 1, create engaging classroom activities. Teachers must engage students the activities in the classroom to promote visual literacy, such as, given example is the 5-card flicker. Provide students with 5 random photos or images. Ask them to write a word associated with each image. Name a song that reminds them of each image and describe what all of the images have in common. Then, invite the students to compare their answers with those of their classmates. So that's how teachers must do in a classroom. Number two, diversify text media. Provide a variety of ways for students to interact with text, such as books, in print, audio, and electronic formats. You may wish to allow students to listen to an audiobook while following along in the print version. Try posting also infographics where students can read them or allowing time for students to listen to podcasts. Number three is to provide access to digital media. As teachers, we must have to let our students engage in the internet or using the technology. Let us ensure that the students have opportunities to access a variety of digital media for collecting and creating information. So that's what I am referring to. Students may wish to read blogs or websites or watch videos on YouTube or streaming services to research topics of interest. Then, in here, they can create a blog or a vlog or other digital media presentation to relay what they learn. So that is the most important for every teachers, that the students can freely explore on themselves about or on how to utilize the technology, because from that students will be curious on how to use this technology, and from time to time, because of their curiosity, they will tend to use that technology, and as time passes, as days goes by, they will now be able to become literate in digital. So the next one, number four, is use social media. So if the students are 13 and older, consider setting up a classroom Twitter account or a Facebook group. Then use it to communicate with the students and to model the safe, responsible, and ethical use of social media. We all know nowadays that social media has been so popular worldwide, and even younger years, or even ages, if even children ages 12 below have already social media accounts. So as a students or as a teachers, we must we must introduce social media to them. Social media to them. Have them their Facebook accounts or any social media accounts, as long as you, the teacher, provide them the proper ways of using them. You apply them, or you advise them to be responsible always in using social media. Number five, resources for developing multiple literacies. Apart from classroom integration, there are many resources for students to develop multiple literacies. Students will naturally use many of these resources, such as gaming, the internet, and social media outlets. Many libraries now recognize multiple literacies and offer resources for students, such as free computer and internet access, ebooks and audiobooks, tablet access, and digital media workshops. Students can also use free tools that are available on their smartphones, digital devices, or computers to explore multiple literacies. Some suggestions include, here are the suggestions for the students: iMovie for video creation, GarageBand for creating podcasts, music, or sound effects, Google products such as Docs, Sheets, and Slides, Apple Podcasts on iPhone, and Stitcher or Spotify on Android for accessing podcasts, and the Microsoft Word, Excel, and the PowerPoint. So you already have the knowledge, or to highlight, in multiple literacy, teachers are just facilitating the students on how to utilize the technology in order for them to have or to develop their literacy skills. So that is the knowledge about multiliteracy. Here are the pictures of, yeah, preparing for multiple literacies. So as you can see, there are child using or using cell phones, laptops. They are listening to music, children, and the teachers assessing the child or the pupil. So that is the multiple literacies. Thank you so much for watching and for listening, guys. So I hope that you've learned something in my videos, and I hope it helps you, it helps us to become an effective individual someday. Keep safe and God bless.